2. Alright, welcome back. This is Game 5 of the BSG series, Bronze, Silver, Gold. The clan war between Heartland Hitmen and Pandora's Mighty Soldiers. It is now 3-1 in Pandora's favor. Liquid Metal has won the last 2 games. It is now match point. If Liquid Metal can win this, he will win it for the team. Meanwhile, Spork in the bottom left as our pink Protoss is going to need to pull nearly a reverse all kill to win it for Heartland Hitmen. It's going to be another PvT. Liquid Metal actually taking out Primorix in game number 3, I believe that was, in a TVP. Just doing some very solid 1-racks fast expand, doing a nice little push with some bio. We'll see if Spork is able to handle this. But Spork definitely has his work cut out for him. Needs to win every game remaining. Needs to win 3 games in a row to pull this out. Alright, seeing a very early scout from our Protoss. We'll be able to get up there, do some harassment on that SCV. We'll also see if there's any sort of proxy. In a series like this, it's actually not a bad idea for one team to cheese at this point. If you're in the lead, if you have 3 games to play with, you might as well try and throw one away at the cheese. Worst case, you get scouted and you lose. Oh well, you still have 2 more chances. Best case, it catches your opponent completely off guard because all Spork needs to do is make 1 mistake, and he is out of this. He has crushed the hopes and dreams of Heartland Hitmen. Alright, we'll get on out of there. SCV will chase him on out and wall off immediately. It looks like that 1-racks fast expand. And Spork will see that things are as they should be. Likely going to check for some proxies. Might also find a good spot for a pylon. But ends up just going right on back home. Alright, SCV now doing the counter scouting. We'll be able to see just what it is that Spork is up to. And Spork is going for pretty standard. Looks like 1 gate. Chrono boosting out those probes, so likely going to be an expansion very shortly. Liquid Metal about to plop down an expansion of his own. There it is. Alright, Command Center is down. Do have a pylon over here. Interesting position for it. Usually you will not see an expansion over here, so this can be used to spot for drops. And it can also be used for a reinforcement point. We'll see how Spork chooses to do so. He does not have the probe still out there, so likely not going to see any sort of proxy structures. And Liquid Metal is going to come in here and see that nothing's really too out of the ordinary. Some minerals banking up for Spork, so he should be able to afford a Nexus very shortly. As well as a Mothership Core. Would like to see that come out very soon. Metal, again, I don't know if he's going to be able to get that expansion out in time. This expansion is being built much earlier than Spork's will be, if he is in fact going for... Oh, but he is not. He is going for a 4-gate. Oh, that is what that pylon's for. That pylon is for the reinforcements for that 4-gate. So Liquid Metal going for a pretty standard build, but he is going to have quite a bit of force barreling down at him very shortly. He should be okay. He could definitely need a... he needs a bunker at the top here. If he's not going to... It's a bit late now to get a bunker down here and try and get this base down here. But he should be able to defend with the choke up here at the top. Would love to see a Mothership Core actually accompany this push, so when things get out of hand, just a recall on back. As well as getting that high ground vision. And Warp Gate is done. The gates are up and running this beautifully crisp and clean build. Should see a lot of warp-ins coming in very shortly. How aware of this is Liquid Metal? He is going to see that there are 2 gates coming, does not see the 4th though. So he should be expecting some pressure. But I'm not sure if he's quite ready for this much pressure. Alright, Stalker's building up. Another round of warp-ins coming in. Should be getting a pylon up here. Just need a probe with this. Needs to get that probe up there to get a pylon closer to the reinforcement point. And this is actually going to be pretty tricky. This Oh, very gutsy, building a reactor right on the spot. Again, he has seen those extra gates before an expansion. He does know that there's some sort of pressure coming in. If he can get a starport up and get a medevac out, that would actually basically be the nail in the coffin for Spork's attack. But it's all about, can he get up this choke or not? Can these zealots make it up to the top? The timing is good. The reactor's not done. There's nothing here to repair this wall. This wall is going to go down very shortly. No, he pulls back and he does not actually finish off that wall. Oh! He could have just barreled on in there and completely destroyed the Terran, but no, he pulls back at the last second. Seeing all that choke point. Oh, it does have quite a few minerals and gas banked up. And Evertrust has not put up the production tab. And now it's up. Alright. Going up again, but now there's a little bit more there for our Terran, and the wall is going to be going up again. Oh, he has missed the opportunity for this 4-gate to really do the damage it needed to do. Going to be getting out double medevacs at a time now from Liquid Metal. And a very late expand from Spork. He was done really no damage at all. He might be able to contain the Terran from getting his natural expansion out, but with medevacs coming out soon, medevacs plus bio against gateway units, not so good. This does not look good for Spork. Does have a robo on the way. Could be getting some immortals out for those marauders. Also some observers out just to make sure what is going on is what he thinks is going on. Stim finishing up now for Liquid Metal. And just one medevac coming out. But that is ample to head off this attack. But Liquid Metal might be playing a little bit more passively than he should. Again, this is what he's done so far in every game. Is this base has been so late to actually get down to this expansion that this lead is not quite as big as it could be. So with this base finishing, Spork actually might be able to get back in this game. He does have more probes than Liquid Metal's SCVs. Liquid Metal not quite keeping up in the SCV production. Does have the mule advantage, but for having that base up so much earlier, he should be much farther ahead than he is right now. Do have Colossus on the way, more upgrades for bio coming out for Liquid Metal. Likely going to see that push that we saw last time. Did see in the last TVP that Liquid Metal did, the Colossus was supply blocked out. So this might end up very differently if Spork can hit that a little bit more cleanly. Yeah, this base is just not getting the advantage it needs to be. Down at the natural where it should be getting so much more. Yeah, this base is already getting mined out. The main base is he's already mined out a mineral patch. And still he is not taking this natural expansion. So he has held up the 4-gate. So Spork has not really done much damage, but perhaps he's done some psychological damage in keeping the Terran pinned in his base much longer than he actually should be by any rights. He's starting to set up a bit of a defensive perimeter here. Liquid Metal starting to poke out just a little bit. Very tentative.
Complete.
All that early aggression was just absolutely terrifying, but behind the Spork has actually gotten right back in this game. 44 probes to 33 SCVs. He has the income advantage by far, and with these Colossi coming out, the window for this attack of this bio attack has just completely shut down. Alright, getting that +1, but I believe there is already +1 attack for this bio. Yes, there is. +1 attack for the bio, but the bio hasn't really done any damage back in return. So this economic lead that Liquid Metal has started with, he's squandered that, and now he has not really done any damage in return. And with this Colossus out, this army is actually very fearsome. So while that initial 4-gate didn't really do any damage, he didn't actually lose anything either. So all those initial units are still here in the army. This army is very fearsome. All these medevacs and all this bio would actually normally take out all these gateway units, but again, this this Colossus will do exactly what it needs to do, and he's taking a third behind this Spork. Spork, seeing that he's not being attacked, might be banking on... He does see, with his observer, this entire force right here just kind of huddled up, so he does know that the Terran is playing defensively. So taking this third, a beautiful decision. So while he started on the back foot with economy, he is quickly regaining his footing. Observer down here to spot for drops. Love this observer placement. Lots of observers all over the map. Love, love, love all those observers. More proxy pylons up and running. On this base, he has mined out his main almost completely. 54 probes to 45 SCVs. So much more income for our Protoss player just because he was mining from his natural so much earlier than Liquid Metal was. Liquid Metal not really reading that retreat as well as he needed to. Beautiful. That observer is going to chase down that Widow Mine. Follow it around. Make sure there's no sorts of sneaky shenanigans going on. Also holding this watchtower, there's no vision for our Terran player. Just has a mine down here, which is being seen by that observer. And a mine up here. More mines coming out. And a huge force coming out for Spork. Spork with multiple Colossi. A third is on the way. Some Vikings on the way for Liquid Metal. There are 2 out already. He will have 4 total. Probably 5 or 6 by the time this comes out. I don't think that's going to be actually enough, though. Blink now on the way as well. Plus 2. Plus 2 is now on the way. So we will have equal upgrades, but as soon as plus 2 hits for Spork, Spork will be in a huge upgrade advantage. Also in a supply advantage, which is not a good place for the Terran to be. We'll have to be very careful actually attacking up this choke point. Wants to take out those rocks. Has to be very careful with those mines. But he doesn't really need to actually attack, though, because with this third base up, he just needs to keep this third up and running. Get all his tech out, get the High Templar out, get all those upgrades, Chrono boosted out. Blink on the way, charge is done. And more Vikings are on the way for Liquid Metal. The longer that Spork sits here with all these Colossi, the more those Vikings are actually going to be able to handle them. This mine has taken out 1 Zealot. These rocks still stand. Would like to see the Colossi actually poking at those rocks. More Colossi on the way. Another Robo coming out. Might be going for 2 Robo. And oh, beautiful. A 4th base coming up for Spork. He has complete and total map control. And he is using it to its fullest. Liquid Metal not taking a 3rd. He is slowly starving himself out. So many proxy pylons coming out now. These will also spot for drops. Beautiful, beautiful vision from Spork. Spork just has this whole map just lit up with vision. The Terran cannot move out. And the Terran, in contrast, has absolutely no vision of anything at all. He has seen just about nothing whatsoever. And it looks like he does have his 2nd Robo completed. More Colossi on the way. More Vikings on the way, though, so it is now a cold war between Vikings and Colossi. But the upgrades for the Colossi are going to make them harder and harder to kill. There are no upgrades for those Vikings. So 2 armored Colossi for a total of 3. And remember that each armor on a Colossus will take away 2 damage from Vikings, because the Vikings do attack twice. So key. +3/+3 already on the way. There are no more upgrades on the way for Liquid Metal. Liquid Metal he's maxed out, but this army is just not going to be able to. If he even trades, Spork can just remax so much more quickly. He has so much more tech. The Liquid Metal is just being strangled out here. He has no real. Does have the command center coming out. Hopefully, can be taking that 3rd very shortly. There's the +2 attack. Does have only 1 engineering bay, though. So he is going to be so far behind on those upgrades. These 2 Stalkers checking for that 3rd. Will not see it, and that is going to be a good sign for Spork. Spork on 4 bases now. Saturating these up. Could do a bit of a split on there, but not a huge deal. Just so much more income. Double the income of the Terran player. This command center is now frozen. Can't really actually get into position. Oh, this army's out of position. Could this army move up and actually get the flank? No. No, yes. It does a bit later. The idea was there. Lots of charge lots coming in, melting away very quickly. These Colossi are not all shooting. These Colossi need to move up and shoot. Oh, all the Zealots have now given their lives, and these Colossi are now going down like crazy. The Terran army actually stands. Not everything that the Protoss had was actually engaging all at once. He needed to get a much better spot up there, but this little spot right there with all the charge lots coming in, just kind of trickling in, they were being killed quicker than they could actually attack. And by the time they were all dead, all the Colossi were finally starting to bumble up, but only a few Colossi were firing at a time, and all the Vikings were just making absolute mincemeat of those Colossi. But now he is making 2 Colossi at a time. He has a ton of gates. How many gates does he have? He has 11 gates up and more on the way. So he should be able to replenish very quickly. And Liquid Metal is not actually pressing this advantage. He is taking his 3rd, so he will secure this. But with 4 bases for Spork, a drop or just like a drop right here would be so devastating, but he doesn't actually know that he can move out entirely. These Zealots doing a little bit of a counterattack. I do like this. This will keep the army pinned back at home, which is exactly what Spork needs. Spork just needs time. He needs time to rebuild that expensive army with all those Colossi. So these Zealots will go down without doing much damage, but I do actually really love that little move right there. Will buy time, keep the pressure on Liquid. Liquid does like to play passively, as Spork has seen, so that will keep him in his base, give him time to rebuild this army. More Colossi on the way, some Ravens on the way. Interesting. Ravens very, very tricky to use against Protoss because feedbacks will completely destroy them. 4 Colossi on the way. He has 4 robotics facilities all going at once. So many Colossi. And Liquid Metal is just giving him so much time to actually just rebuild this massive robo army. Another base coming up for Spork. And Liquid Metal, he needs to get some map awareness, poke around, poke and prod, check out what his opponent is doing. See, he has the army advantage, but it's rapidly slipping away. And he's not going for the +2 armor either. He has not really all that much going for him at this point. He needs to get another great engagement like he did last time, but I'm not sure if Spork is going to allow him to do that again. And with that many Colossi, oh, that is just terrifying as a Terran. Not much anti-air though, so a lot of Vikings could dance right over this dead space right there. And Liquid Metal finally getting another base up, but he's so far behind in economy now. Will not see. Oh, he will see that Nexus right as it finishes. This little hit squad coming out down here, doing a multi-pronged attack. I love this, but it might be a little bit too little, too late. Oh, he might actually take out this Nexus. No, he will be shredded to pieces without having done any real damage. Those shields will come back. A little bit of actual hull damage, but this army is now getting into position. Spork needs to get him in this choke. He needs to catch him in this choke. All those Colossi need to do all that area effect damage right in that choke there, and they're getting a huge concave right at the top. Oh, the Bio needs to run away, and those Zealots are going to be completely harassing them. But now this is not the engagement that the Terran needed, and Metal is just vaporizing to all those Colossi. And that is what that first engagement should have looked like. Lots of Vikings still going around, 4 of them left, not really getting taken out by those Stalkers quick enough. Finally taken out. A Seeker Missile goes down, but does almost nothing at all. Medevacs will get out. Couple stray Marines coming in to die. Base is up and running for Liquid Metal. Both players with a bit of a bank, but Metal does not have the production capabilities to spend all that money as quickly as he needs to. Making 5 Reapers. Huh. Not sure the thought process behind that, but he is making 5 Reapers at a time. +3 attack is on the way. This base is down. Spork can just push in. He's maxed out against a 100 supply Terran that is making Reapers. Don't know what the Reapers are doing. Lots and lots of gateways going down. Love to see that, so Spork can remax almost instantly as soon as 13 gates going down. As soon as any sort of trade is given, this base getting up again. He knows he's ahead, but he's still just relentless with that expansion. Excuse me, with those expansions. Love to see that. This base, no real prayer of actually staying alive. And that is the last remaining income for our Terran player. And by last remaining income, I mean there's still some income over here. Because I'm blind. Alright, army coming up now. And this should be the push of death. I'm not sure what the Terran can do. All the bio is completely clumped up. All the Vikings are getting some nice shots off. A few Colossi will go down, but it's just too little too late. All the Stalkers will be able to clean up the Vikings, and the ground force will push on to victory. 55 supply to a nearly maxed out Protoss. All of the Vikings are down. Raven is down without having used its energy, and there is the GG. Spork is starting the epic comeback that he needs to reclaim the glory for Heartland Hitmen. Alright, the series is now 3-2 for Pandora's Mighty Soldiers. We will be back with game number 6 of this best of 7 series.